Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here.
And not Tiki.
No, you're definitely not Tiki. Thanks for clarifying
Correct.
that.
I was just putting it out there.
I think the audience would have been confused if you didn't clarify that, so thank
sure.
God. Thank God.
Tiki here and Tiki.
All right, folks. So welcome back to the So You Want to Be an Imagineer Inside Baseball podcast. Adventure Blue Dude. This is the last podcast you're going to be able to do before you go back to college to pursue your education, because
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I decided to go in debt to pursue a film career.
Oh dear God.
So, that
honestly kind of makes me feel better. That honestly kind of makes me feel better about my decision to devote my life to podcasting in the Disney Museum. So
I plan ahead.
Oh God. So we are here to recap Project 8 of So You Want to Be an Imagineer, Season 13 on the WDW Magic Imagineering forums. Project 8 was the task was to create an e-ticket attraction revolving around a new S.E.A character. Adventure Blue Dude, for those who don't know, do you want to kind of just give a very quick recap of S.E.A?
Oh jeez.
So
S.E.A, also known as,
just in case anyone's watching who's like kind of just stumbling on the video.
S.E.A, also known as the Society of Explorers and Adventures, is like a society team or a theme type thing that showed up in Disney Sea and has kind of circulated the other Disney parks. It's like a really interesting thing where like it just kind of shows up in queues and various characters that show up in the parks are connected to it. So like there's Harrison Hightower, Henry Mystic, and a bunch of other.
I'd say Harrison Hightower and Henry Mystic are probably the two most well-known ones because
they definitely are.
They have like full-blown e-ticket attractions revolving around them, but so yeah, and this was kind of like essentially like create the third in that trilogy of like Tokyo, Tower of Terror, Mystic Manor. I mean, we didn't specifically say that, but it's essentially, create an e-ticket around a S.E.A character. So
yeah.
Adventure Blue Dude, this is the hardest project to judge of the whole season. I am so conflicted about this.
I agree.
Yeah, I don't even know where to start. I guess, let me just start off by saying, first of all, the opinions expressed by the judges do not affect at all the the standings of people in the competition right now because it's post-merge, and so we're basically like the judges on American Idol. We're basically like, let's just call ourselves Paula and Randy and disassociate ourselves.
Can I be Randy?
Sure, you could be Randy.
Yo, dog, you really did good. I think I became Randy Jackson.
Honestly, I just I can see you in the on the screen, but you just disappeared. Like Randy Jackson was in the screen right there, right behind your right in front of your wire in your bedroom.
Keep it up, dog.
Okay. So yeah, this is this project, the Lost World Expedition, the search for Tarrant Ram. This project
say Tarrant Ram.
It's a mouthful. I don't think it rolls off the tongue as well as Harrison Hightower
or Mary Oceaneer or Henry Mystic or Barnabas T. Bullion.
Or even Jock Lindsay.
Or Albert Falls. Or where's my list? I don't know what my list is. I got a whole list of them. But
that's definitely a nitpick, and I don't think it affected either of our scores. But...
No, it doesn't.
So I'm sure you have some issues with this with the timeline. My issue with this is essentially I do like the idea of having a time travel themed S.E.A character. It was intriguing. It was a risk, and it was intriguing. Adventure Blue Dude and I kind of disagree with this. I kind of personally think this would have worked a little bit better in Tomorrowland. Adventure Blue Dude, where do you say you wanted this to go?
Discoveryland. It would have made more. Either Discoveryland or Shanghai, but more
Shanghai, right?
More so Shanghai. Yeah.
Yeah, and for me personally, this attraction is a really, really, really well executed, essentially like a reboot of Dinosaur. Let's take Dinosaur and just do it over again
and boats
and do it way better. And from that element, I really like this project. Like, just as a Disney-themed dinosaur project, I like it a lot. Having said that, there's certainly a lot of effort to put the character into the project, but I think that overall there is a little bit of a disassociation for me with the dinosaurs and S.E.A. It was just a little bit too radically like outside of the S.E.A. mythology, even though you do have Terrence Ram in there as a character. I don't know. What do you think?
No, I agree. Generally, I think.
Of course, there's the issue where it's the 1930s and S.E.A. is generally like 1800s.
Yeah, so far, like, S.E.A., with the exception of Jock Lindsay, but you could argue that he joined earlier in the century, S.E.A. is kind of focused more around, like, the very, very late 19th century, so, like, 1899-ish.
Mm-hmm. I personally don't have a big problem at all with the 1930s thing. Again, mostly, a lot of that has to do with Chuck Lindsay, but you have a little bit more of an issue with it.
My problem more stems from, I think, what is a headcanon that I, for some reason, assumed was actual canon. Where, like, the way I saw S.E.A., and I could have swore I read this somewhere, so, like, it was canon or whatever, but it could have been a retcon, and I could be totally wrong. For some reason, I thought that S.E.A. was a thing in, like, the 19th century, kind of, like, dissipated over the course of the very early 20th century, and then Merryweather Pleasure started the Adventurers Club, which is kind of like a spiritual successor to S.E.A.
Right, right.
That's the way that I saw it. Again, I could be wrong, but again, it didn't really affect anything. It just, yeah.
Let's just kind of go down and explore some of this project. I think just overall, just presentation-wise, it's really good.
Yes.
And like I said, my issue here is, as a dinosaur-themed project, it is probably one of the better dinosaur projects I've seen in an Imagineering competition. There's a lot of detail to it. There's a lot of wow moments in there. It makes very good use of the incredibly new Shanghai Pirates technology that, which kind of blows the door wide open for, like, I feel like Shanghai Pirates is almost kind of like a big leap forward. It's almost like the biggest leap forward since, I don't know, something like enhanced motion vehicles or something like that.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. It's kind of like, it's more of like a move sideways than necessarily forward, I would think.
I mean, are you saying that just because of the larger focus on screens?
Not necessarily. Like, the Pirates ride system is kind of just EMV and water. I mean, it's a lot more than that. But
that's kind of simplifying it. I'm sorry.
No, it's totally simplified. And, like, it's definitely a leap forward, and it definitely changes the game. But I wouldn't quite put it on the pedestal that EMV is on.
I mean, fair enough. I'm just kind of trying to think of a comparison.
Oh, no, totally.
But
Comparison Hightower.
Comparison Hightower.
Yeah, that's
oh my god.
My pun of the night.
Hashtag Comparison Hightower. Hashtag that shit, folks. Okay.
Get it all over Twitter. We haven't used our Twitter in 3 years, but fuck it.
Comparison Hightower. Okay. Oh dear. Okay. I've got to be honest, AdvBlueDude. The queue was by far my favorite part of the project, and I don't say that in any kind of like mean-spirited way where the rest of the project was bad or anything like that.
I agree. They set up the story very well. I like the various like cameos by other S.E.A. members who we don't really see or hear, which is especially interesting.
Which is a good choice, I feel like, because honestly, if they would have had like an animatronic of Henry Hightower or something like that, would have been way overkill.
Oh yeah. Totally. Though I'm not entirely sure why there's one random person speaking French. all the other ones make total sense. Like Hikaru Toshiko, but Susanna Delacour doesn't necessarily make sense because I could be wrong, but it's Japan. But the other ones are great, but again, that's a nitpick.
All right, let's get into this portrait of Nathan Drake. I mean, Terrence. I'm sorry, that was mean. That was a cheap barb. That was a very cheap barb, and I apologize.
Honestly, I have problems with the character design.
I mean, it's just a guy in a jacket with a fedora. I mean, I honestly kind of like, what am I supposed to compare it to?
I think
Honestly,
I think it's way too close to Indiana Jones.
yeah, that's my big issue with it as well. I
Especially
mean,
with it being directly next to Indiana Jones in the park. And B, I don't think the character's way of speaking and his mannerisms really fit the look of the character.
and I honestly don't have as much of a problem with that because I feel like that's just kind of like how you read it personally. But
I know, totally, but I mean that's just I do not see someone who looks like this as generalizing. I hope, yeah, this is totally generalizing, but I do not see someone who looks like that talking how he writes his letters.
yeah, I mean, my whole thing with what you're saying is that yeah, it is generalizing.
I know it totally is, but at the same time, when it's a very flat theme park character,
Right,
yeah,
right. Let's talk about
that's just
this.
me.
Let's talk about the Jaguar. I personally don't have a big issue with this. I think one of the issues people had with it was that it was kind of too close to the what is it, a monkey in Sinbad?
No, it's a tiger.
Tiger, right, right. For me personally, the reason why I can kind of let it slide is just because this isn't any sort of like a cartoon Jaguar or anything like that.
It it's a totally different design and a totally different theme, or yeah, basically totally different design. But
Uh,
my problem with like if this was in a different park, fine. But the problem is that you're like a 5 minute walk away from Sinbad, and there's another character with the cat friend, and it's just redundant. And I know that you guys talked a lot about cutting them, and you didn't, which is fine. I just think you should have stuck with the dodo. And
yeah,
I'm
let's talk
also
about that because I like the dodo idea a lot better for a
so
map.
do I. I would also like to mention that I'm very disappointed that none of you guys just completely ignored the pictures of newts that Figment posted. I would have very much liked to see a newt.
Just like a large, like 10-foot tall salamander or
Yeah,
something
it's like a
weird like
giant
that.
salamander or the tiniest newt.
Oh, God. Just like the world's tiniest animatronic.
Yes.
Oh dear, oh dear. No, I totally understand what you're saying. It's if it would have just been the dodo, I think that would have worked better and it would have
I agree.
simplified it too.
Yeah,
I don't necessarily think this character needs two sidekicks.
he doesn't.
So
The dodo can get all the help.
this is honestly my favorite part of the project. I know it's very simple to do if you have Photoshop, but still I like the effort that went into it.
Oh, totally. I love the letters as well.
It definitely it very much kind of sets the tone. It sets you within the mindset of the character. I mean, like you said, like I personally don't have any sort of problem with how he talks. I guess that's just kind of a
I don't have a
subjective
problem with the
thing.
way he talks. I just don't think it fits the character.
Yeah, but like you said, it's like the character is so bare bones to begin with. It's
Well, yeah, but if it's bare bones, that should just support that because if it's bare bones, like the character, I feel as though if you're only getting a picture of a character and the things that the character is written, like the character should reflect that.
well, I'm gonna lean on the side of it doesn't bother me, but
No,
that's fine.
it's me.
Yeah. The ride vehicles, this honestly might have been my favorite part of the whole thing. I love how they describe the vehicles.
Mm.
Because at first glance, yeah, it does look very redundant. It does look like it's just a Jungle Cruise vehicle. What I really love about the way this is executed is how it kind of like it's deceptively simple.
Mm.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like at first glance, it very much looks like a Jungle Cruise vehicle, but there's so much more to the technology.
Totally. No, like I mean, really, like I had a slight problem with them just reusing the Jungle Cruise ride system or the ride vehicle, but with it being a totally different system and with it being like an extension on that, I feel better about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I love the load area. I
Mm.
love this idea. This is probably like, I mean, I keep saying this is my favorite part of the project, but this really is probably my single favorite idea. I love the idea of like within the show building, making it seem like you're making it kind of like give an impression that there's the outside. It almost kind of calls to mind a little bit like the Radiator Springs Racers load area with the caverns and everything.
Yeah.
a little bit, like vaguely, but I like the idea that after going through the cave, or I'm sorry, after going through the jungle in the show building, kind of being like immersed in the darkness and stuff, you kind of come upon this clearing, and it very much gives you the illusion that you're outside. I really like how that's executed. Yeah, and then for the actual scenes, they're very elaborate.
Yes.
And I mean, honestly, in a pre-Shanghai time, I would have said there's no way you could have done this. But we have Shanghai pirates, and that was kind of a game changer. So I give this credit because as far as I'm aware, do you recall if any House Cup projects use the Shanghai Pirates technology?
I don't believe so.
Okay, so as far as I'm aware, this might be the first competition project on WDW Magic to use Pirate Shanghai technology.
Congrats, you're innovators.
Yeah. Like I said, it's like I really like the cue a lot, and I really like the setup of the character. I just think the character just very much fades into the background, and that's fine, except for the fact that, like I say, it almost kind of feels like it turns into a different ride to a certain extent with the time travel. The time travel, I've got to admit, it really kind of threw me through a loop the first time I read it, like in the context of the project. Like I knew they were going to do it. I was just like, kind of like how they describe it. It's just like, yeah, you're going through, and then suddenly you're in prehistoric times. Correct me, like, do you remember what the transition they have here for the time travel?
I don't. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm sure that's something we'll get comments on.
It's okay. We all make mistakes.
No, but honestly, that was kind of one of the issues I had with the time travel thing, is that I'm trying to read through it, and it's just there isn't really a big sense of like when you actually, unless it's in the queue, maybe. I don't think it's in the queue.
I don't think it is either.
So for me in the ride, there's no real big transition into the time travel. And like I said, I'm kind of trying to read through it, and I'm not really seeing it. Like I said, folks, it's like I'm sure there's people like yelling at their screens right now, like live as we're doing, just like, it's done this way. You idiots! You didn't read the project.
We can't hear you through the screen, sir.
But I don't know. It just kind of throws me for. Oh wait, maybe this is it? The cave? Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, the cave. Okay, the cave is the transition. Fair enough. That's kind of the Pirates of the Caribbean way of doing it, which is fine. It's just kind of like you're in a cave and then you're back in time, which, like I said, it is the Pirates of the Caribbean way of doing it, but
it's more story-driven here, though. Which is why also Adventure BlueDude,
I also just kind of got stabbed in the heart a little bit because I missed the old Pirates of the Caribbean tunnel pre-Davy Jones so much.
I love that tunnel, though.
You like the Davy Jones tunnel?
I don't like Davy Jones, but I love the mist, because we don't have in Florida. You go down a hill and then you're in the ship battle.
Yeah, but pre-Davy Jones, that whole tunnel was just like completely dark, and there was like an ominous an ominous narration going on, and
I'm sure.
And that was so much better than Davy Jones.
I'm
so
sure.
much better than Davy Jones.
I just think, like, if I can ignore Davy Jones, I think that room is probably the best, like, transition in any ride ever, because it's incredible.
It is the best transition in any ride ever. But I can't look past Davy Jones though. Davy
Jones
so
effective. Yeah, I forget that you guys don't have Blackbeard either. Ours switches.
Oh, we used to have Blackbeard.
Yeah, I mean I don't know why they don't do that in Disneyland where it switches.
Because Davy Jones is just a way more memorable character than Blackbeard was.
Well, I mean, you're right.
I mean, I'm sorry, it's just kind of the truth.
I mean, you're right. You're totally right. They could have Jack Sparrow.
Oh God.
Going over the mist.
Oh no. Don't give Disney ideas, please.
I'm gonna email them. Dear Disney,
I am very Dear Disney, I am very upset that Jack Sparrow only appears 3 times in Pirates of
Yes,
the Caribbean.
dear Disney, Jack Sparrow needs more prominence.
Oh, God.
Please, I request more Jack Sparrow and more Frozen. Where can I find Elsa other than the 4 places where I can already find her?
Oh, dear God. The Elsa meet and greet had like a 10-minute line. There's not even a demand for it anymore.
I know there isn't. They waited too long to like utilize to jump on it.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not talking about that. We're talking about dinosaurs, like this little Carnosaurus here.
Yeah. I just flipped away from. Again, I really like. Okay, probably my favorite thing about the way they execute this dinosaur thing is just the kind of scientific accuracy they have with the feathers and everything like that.
I do really like that they did feathered dinosaurs.
Mm-hmm.
Because that not only is it scientifically accurate, but it kind of adds to the fantastical quality of it.
Ironically enough, being scientifically accurate. But and it's also a big way to distinguish it between Jurassic Park.
Yeah, and I mainly mean like fantastical.
And dinosaur for that matter.
Yeah. I mean, like, dinosaurs with feathers is such a fanciful idea.
No, I know.
Even though it's reality, yeah. What a world we live in. Dinosaurs and feathers.
Oh, this is probably one of my favorite scenes in the actual ride.
Mm.
The Brontosaurus caves. Like I said, like there's not really a ton that's here that's not doable. It's like all you need is, a pretty big showroom and some animatronics. You can easily pull this off.
Yeah.
And here is kind of like where they utilize the Shanghai technology, kind of blend in the screens with the with animatronics and stuff. And I think I personally think it looked beautiful.
Mm.
I really like the way they write it out. You know what this reminds me of?
What?
It kind of reminds me of the of Space's final project in season 7, just vaguely.
Oops.
Or I'm sorry, not Space.
King Mickey.
Yeah, King Mickey. I'm sorry.
That's fine. I just got thrown off for a second, and then I know. Season was season 7.
Yeah, hey, Space. Apparently, you won season 7. Good job. I'm so proud of you. No, but seriously, it does kind of remind me of that because what really still to this day kind of sticks out to me about that project that Space did was
King Mickey.
God damn it! Wow. What really stuck out to me about King's project was the way he described like the emotional impact of seeing the creatures that he was laying out.
Yeah.
And I feel like you get a similar vibe here with how beautiful this this landscape would be.
Oh, this ride did not have time travel.
Wait, what?
This ride did not have time travel. It was based off of the Lost World.
Oh God. Okay. Well,
yeah.
Folks,
which
you know what?
I totally knew, but completely forgot about.
Well, thanks. For
I'm so sorry.
You know what? I completely kind of take back everything I say about the time travel elements of it then. I mean, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that then. As long as the boats aren't actually physically going back in time, I think that's a lot more realistic. I say realistic just in terms of like the context of the story. Yeah. But anyways, I mean, it's still a fantastical land of dinosaurs, but I think we can pretty much start to wrap it up. Do you have anything else you really? Do you want to talk about the Easter eggs at all?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a ton to say, but I like them.
Yeah,
I very much like them. They were subtle, and I like that there was one in Haunted Mansion. I thought that was interesting.
Here's the one. I have like a tiny little nitpick, and it's not a big deal at all. But I think they should have put the Easter egg in Disney World's Haunted Mansion, and then put the letter to Dr. Jones in the Indy's office in the Disneyland queue.
Where is the letter to Dr. Jones?
Right here.
No, I mean, where is it in the park?
Oh, it's in the Adventure Outpost in Hollywood Studios.
I mean, I know that they were talking about putting it in Indiana Jones's office in Indiana Jones Adventure, and I would have liked that, but at the same time, like it doesn't make sense because like nobody stops and looks in there because it's way off in the corner, and like it's kind of in like this weird place where you don't really have time to look at it.
Because it's right after the film room, and it's
Yeah,
like
they just send you through it in like a group of 20, and they're like, "Okay, cool, go ride the ride." But, like there's no queue there, so like you can't really stop there to look at it.
that's always bothered me. That's always really bothered me because that's like one of the most well detailed parts of the indie
Oh,
queue.
totally. They should. Yeah.
When I was there with Garrett and Rob, Garrett and I kind of lingered on it, and he pointed out like the Time magazine and stuff like that. The Time magazine with Mickey Mouse on it.
I kept wanting to look at it. I just was like going through the queue, so I looked at everything else.
Just
and
linger.
Tried the
You can
effects
linger.
to see if they would work, and sometimes
I mean, as
they
long
did.
as long as you don't mind other people getting ahead of you in the line, I'm sure they don't mind if you linger.
Well, I mean, a lot of it was because I was with my mom.
Of course, that's
Yeah.
understandable. Okay. Yeah, I think we can pretty much wrap it up with the scores. So, are you going to play Simon or are you going to play Randy with your scores?
Oh, can we talk about one more thing?
Yeah, sure.
Just the redundancies, because there were a lot of redundancies.
I thought you said you were going through and you didn't see as many redundancies as you thought there were.
I mean, they're still worth them. I mean, we kind of went over them actually, but I think I mentioned everything actually.
I mean,
like,
if you want to
just like,
if you want to do a run through one really quick.
yeah, I mean, the main things I have is that the character I felt looked way too much like Indiana Jones. Jogo, the Jaguar, is a little too close to the tiger and Sinbad, as we discussed. And also, I feel as though because he looks a little bit like Indiana Jones, the ride doesn't quite work as well because it's directly next to Indiana Jones Adventure.
You're right. That is kind of an issue.
Yeah. So, like, there's a few problems. Like I said, like, this would have fit so much better in Shanghai. And a lot of my problems with it are because it's misplaced in Tokyo Disney Sea.
Yeah, which just kind of goes to show it's like a lot of these Imagineering competitions and projects and stuff, like location is kind of the key thing that people don't really realize a lot of the time. Where it's like a lot of the time they just kind of like put attractions in parks based on like what park fits the theme of the attraction the most. And I would say Disney Sea certainly does fit the theme of this attraction the most overall as a park.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's like they weren't really kind of looking at the bigger picture overall, which was
like it fits the most, but there's already a lot of things that has the same purpose.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So okay. So do you want to get in scores then?
Yeah.
Okay, so creativity, I had 7.5.
I gave a 7.
Okay. Realism, I gave a 7.
I gave a 6.5 because of things I discussed just now.
Okay, fair enough. Detail, I gave a 9. Presentation, I gave it 9.
Detail, I gave an 8. Presentation, I gave a 9.
9? Okay, cool. And then teamwork, I gave a 7 out of 10.
I gave a 5.
God. Want to briefly discuss why?
Because this project was Space and Mickey and nobody else, and it wasn't the fault of the group. It was just they kind of took off and did it, which is fine. But I mean, like,
I appreciate the enthusiasm.
So do I. Yes.
Yeah, Mickey Fan. It's odd because Mickey Fan has been with us since the Vision's Fantastic days, and I've never seen him as active in a project as this one.
It's so great to see him active, though.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think kind of the big problem though is and why your group work project is low, I think, is because like he was very much kind of he had a particular vision for this and he wanted to see it through, and he wasn't really that wavering with other people's suggestions and stuff like that. And I think in the end that maybe cost the final project to a certain extent.
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit.
Like I said, it's like I very much like I think it's so great that Mickey Fan was like the driving force behind a project. I never would have guessed that out of him from the first season he played in, where he was eliminated like maybe first or second. You know, he was basically like a non-entity. So to see him come from that, follow the game all the way from Vision's Fantastic to WDW Magic and be a driving force in the project, I'm proud of him. I'm definitely proud of him. But at the same time, yeah, the leadership could have been a little better. especially in terms of like hearing out other people and their suggestions. So
Totally.
all right.
It's a hell of a story, though.
Right. Now let's see. There's a couple other things I just kind of want to get into, especially with the killer's twist. Because for some reason there's confusion about like the killer vote and the elimination vote. So let's just kind of clear that up.
Yes.
If someone gets directly killed off by the killers, so not like a Space Mountain situation where, you know, where a Diamond Power of MVP gets eliminated, but if they're directly killed off and sent to the Museum of the Weird, then there is going to be no elimination that round. Having said that, if nothing comes of the killer twist in terms of sending someone to the Museum of the Weird, then we will still have a nomination and a vote and all that fun stuff.
Mhm.
And our Michael, it's like, I don't know. Our Michael seems confused about like the killer vote and the elimination vote and everything like that. And our Michael, there's a killer vote and an elimination vote. All right. You know, I've gotten that question from him like a couple times. So, like there's both a killer vote and an elimination vote. Our Michael, they're separate from each other. You know, they're not one and the same. You vote for a killer, you want to vote for a killer. And then you also want to vote for someone to get eliminated with a nomination. So it's not, I don't know. It's one of those things where like in the voting booth PM that I have set up with our Michael, he's kind of like, asking some questions about that. So,
yeah.
Just to clear it up, our Michael, there is definitely going to be a killer vote this round. So, all right. So, anything else?
No.
Fantasy draft.
Oh, geez. Where do I have? I don't know where my list is. I have far too many notebooks.
Well, I have Space, Basketball King. I am not a Hufflepuff, and D squared. You have,
meaning that I have everyone else.
Yes, you have Figment. I am not a Hufflepuff. Or, no, I am not. I apologize. You have Figment, Mandy Wreath, Mickey Fan, D squared. No, I have D squared. God damn, I am not good at this. Well, regardless, my three people that I have left are Space, I am not a Hufflepuff, and D squared. And we are not good at like, coming up with your fantasy draft picks. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, I can't find mine. All I can find are my notes on my presentation for Troll 2 from college.
Oh no.
I took a class in horror cinema. We had to do presentations. So I did a presentation on Troll 2 as an example of modern horror films.
Oh dear God. What grade did you get on of it?
I think I got like an A.
Nice.
The teacher also didn't care. I did it totally straight. It was great.
That's awesome. I'm sure the teacher probably appreciated the creativity.
No, he didn't even know what Troll 2 was. He was like,
oh, really?
Yeah, he's like, yeah, that's like that first one, right? I'm like, yeah, it's Sonny Bono, and I just sat down and he just moved on.
Oh God. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stop my screen share. So AdvBlueDude, we might there's like a small chance that we're going to be able to do a Disneyland 1970s retrospective with you before we go to college. But
yes.
If we don't hear from you by then, have fun in college, stay safe, make good choices.
Thank you. Oh, did anyone who won PO MVP?
PO MVP this round went to Man-Eating Wreath.
Cool.
Which I think is very appropriate because Man-Eating Wreath is starting college this week, and also Project 10, I have a feeling, is going to be a project that he's going to absolutely excel in. So, and also I forgot to post an avatar of the project teaser, so I'm going to get on that like right after this project or this podcast wraps up.
Yeah,
because this next project, Project 10, is by far the project that I've been most looking forward to the entire season. So I can't wait to see what you guys come up with it.
Yeah.
All right, folks. So I honestly don't know what we're going to do with this podcast now that AdvBlueDude's away at college. I don't know if I want to come on and do like reviews just by myself. I don't know. Sam, I miss you, because Sam was such a good person to have for, to kind of give the objective view of the game as someone who wasn't playing it. I miss you, Sam. Come back. Seriously, from the bottom of my heart, I miss him. But anyways, folks, thanks for joining us, and please, when you think of us in the comments and think of us like in terms of us giving feedback, think of us in Paula and Randy, not Simon.
Yeah.
AdvBlueDude, please give us another Randy Jackson invitation to go out on.
Oh God. That was a really good dog.
Really good dog.
I do.
I think he did. Magical. That was magical. All right. Have a good night, folks.